So Xbox has done the unthinkable.
They are raising their Game Pass prices to $30 a month.
As Xbox adds new benefits including Fortnite Crew Access.
Oh my God.
And a lot of people are really mad about it.
Everyone hates Xbox with the surge of cancellations causing Microsoft's website to malfunction.
It is crashing the website.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna blow up in every corporation's face. People are going back to pirating.
Piracy is generally an issue of economics.
I saw a post people saying that Costco had completely removed Xboxes from sale.
Costco confirmed it will no longer sell Xbox consoles, calling the move a business decision.
And then Sam's Club did the same, which I myself was able to confirm. This right here, this is all they have left of Xbox, and it's all on clearance, literally 4 items. Also, everything in my cart right now is a tax write-off because I need it for the video.
That's not all. It recently came to light that subscribers no longer receive discounts on DLC and add-ons in the Xbox store.
But most DLC for Game Pass titles is now showing up at full price.
Xbox is officially dead!
So what's going on here essentially is that Microsoft has hedged all of their bets on Game Pass.
Microsoft may exit gaming business if Game Pass subscribers off console don't increase enough by 2027. They're hoping for 100 million users.
So this chart basically shows the Xbox Game Pass subscriber count on PC, console, and cloud divisions. And it projects they will reach 100 million subscribers by 2030.
Spencer said, in no uncertain terms, I can fairly safely say that if we do not make more progress than this off console, we would exit the gaming business.
If this were the outcome, meaning they don't reach their goal somewhere around 100 million subscribers, including a bunch more off platform, they could potentially exit the business.
So now they only have until 2027 to hit their goal of 100 million users. But as of February last year, they only had about roughly 34 million subscribers. So it's not looking good. If they were to go out of business, then gaming as a whole is in big trouble. But hey, luckily the Game Pass model is actually really profitable.
Last fiscal year, Xbox Game Pass sales reached a record high of $5 billion. It's a profitable business. And then like a couple days later, they raised the Game Pass Ultimate 50%, despite it apparently being profitable.
So this entire Game Pass saga was being spearheaded by this guy.
Your love for games, your feedback, and your energy continue to shape everything we do at Xbox.
Our buddy Philip seems to constantly go back on his word.
Remember when they talked about the importance of high-quality games, but then shut down the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush? What about Game Pass? One of the defining features was day one games, and now there are tiers that don't offer the feature at all. Last year, Phil expressed how $70 pricing could feel manipulative to gamers, and now he's on board with charging $80 for Outer Worlds 2.
And apparently, according to a trusted leaker, it would appear that Philip Spencer pays people to play on his Xbox account in order to pad out his gamer score and make it appear as though he is like one of us, a true gamer.
CEO of Xbox, one of the busiest men in America, I'm sure, okay? Dude has time to level up a character to 100 in Season 2 of Diablo 4. He played 917 hours of games, 150 hours in Starfield.
Can you believe it? You know how babies have that soft spot on the top of their head for fingers? Well, I always, oh, hi. Yes, that's me. Thank you. Looks good. That was fast.
Very fast.
Yeah.
I knew what you wanted. I read your mind.
Wow, that's impressive.
Before you got here, just kidding.
We're here at the Chili's, by the way. I came here because I wanted some good old-fashioned Chilean food, but apparently they don't make that here. But the price hike has got me wondering, what even is the point of having Game Pass if it costs that much, you know? On the surface, it is worth $30. It's got a lot of stuff. Too much stuff, perhaps.
With Ultimate, you'll now have access to Ubisoft Plus Classics in addition to EA Play. And Fortnite Crew will be added in November. In total, Ultimate gives you access to over 400 games.
Even he who has no life would simply not be able to find the time to play all this. He would be a slave to the Game Pass subscription for all of time. And I think that's what Microsoft wants. Full-blown gamer slavery. This $10 price increase isn't even worth it. Because me, I'm not even going to play any of those EA games or Ubisoft games or take advantage of the Fortnite VIP Crew Access. I don't even know what that is, and I don't even care what it is. I don't even want you to tell me what it is in the comments. Because the thing about me is I don't give a shit about that. In other words, it's being inflated with stuff that I don't want, just so that they can raise the value of this subscription.
We understand price increases are never fun for anybody, but we're trying to reinforce by adding more value to these plans as well.
However, I got a hot little tip for you boys and girls.
Get this, many retailers, Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, Target, are just offering $20 cards for Game Pass.
Yet still, I can't help but feel like I'm forced into Game Pass, right? Because Black Ops 7 is coming out next month, and I plan on doing a video on that shit. And I'll tell you something, I'm sure as hell not gonna pay $70 to own that game. I'm not doing that. And I have a theory here. What if Xbox is boosting the price of their consoles?
Series X is now $599.99.
And boosting the price of their games to $70 and $80.
Celebrate the beauty of capitalism by pre-ordering today.
Play it day one with Game Pass.
Because of Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Because I mean, think about it, right? Why would somebody pay full price for a game like Doom the Dark Ages, Hellblade 2 or 1, or Hi-Fi Rush, if they could just go spend $20 for 1 month of Game Pass?
Game Pass.
And then they could play all 3 of those games over the course of 1 weekend. Case in point, they lost a lot of sales over Black Ops 6.
Xbox gave up more than $300 million in sales of Call of Duty on console and PCs last year with Black Ops 6.
So, if less people are buying games, then the cost of games must rise up in true gamer fashion. To make matters worse, Game Pass is genuinely damaging the industry.
The founder of Arcane Games says Game Pass
could
destroy the industry because it pressures studios to hit impossible engagement metrics while depending on upfront payments from Microsoft that won't last forever.
Game Pass
is an unsustainable model that has been increasingly damaging the industry for a decade, subsidized by Microsoft's infinite money, but at some point reality has to hit. I don't think GP can coexist with other models that'll either kill everyone else or give up.
It can be, and has been detrimental for smaller indie studios. Like sure, a bunch of gamers are being exposed to neat little games that they missed out on, right? But then these studios that made them are still getting shut down because nobody's buying the games.
Quote, as a longtime first-party Xbox developer, I can attest that while Game Pass can claim a few victories with games that otherwise would have sunk beneath the waves, the majority of game adoption on Game Pass comes at the expense of retail revenue, unless the game is engineered from the ground up for post-release monetization.
So I actually think that in the long run, this is extremely damaging for us as customers, because despite gaining access to these cool games, we're losing the studios that made them.
Gaming subscription services like Game Pass, quote, are worth jack shit if the game developers who create content for them are not properly supported.
There's also a strong case to be made that Game Pass devalues our entire perception of video games in their entirety.
I have an Xbox Series X. I have Game Pass. And let me tell you, the presence of Game Pass and what it will do to the market and what it will do to consumer mentality, I actually think is fundamentally bad for the industry. Because I think you're creating people who think that video games are cheap throwaway trash that they can sample like cheap food at a buffet, and if they don't like it, no big deal. There's more things at the buffet to try, and they don't understand how much work actually goes into a game, so the value to value economic idea isn't in their brain, or it's slowly leaving their brain. They're like, what do you mean? Why would I pay for a game?
I actually think there's a lot of credence to this theory because I've experienced it myself. I've installed several games which I then only played for about 10 minutes before immediately discarding. Because when you don't pay for them, it feels as though they have inherently less value.
Where I think people are still very much willing to spend $60, $70 on games, but if Game Pass continues to grow, people are going to be more and more selective on when they actually spend their money on games.
In fact, I've almost stopped buying games for myself entirely because I would find myself just waiting for whatever game I wanted to play to come out on Game Pass. Another way it's damaging is this. I played Lies of P on Game Pass, and I loved it to death. I made an entire video on it. You guys remember how I was drinking all that wine earlier? Well, now I need to pee. Lies of P. And when they announced the DLC for it, I was so hyped up to play it, you know? But of course, when the DLC launched, Lies of P had been removed from Game Pass. So, if I wanted to play that DLC, I would have had to spend $60 on Lies of P and then another $30 on the DLC. I'm not gonna pay 90 bucks for a game that I've already sunk like 70 hours into, you know? What am I, a Destiny fan? So not only did I miss out on an experience that I wanted to have, but the studio lost out on 2 sales, because Lies of P is a game that I definitely would have bought. The way Microsoft has handled their intellectual properties has been nothing short of insulting. This could likely be because our buddy Phil doesn't believe in making great games.
Phil Spencer stated that they do not believe making great games is going to help them overtake Sony or Nintendo.
Starting off with Her Great Majesty, Halo.
When you first saw Halo, were you blinded by its majesty?
Blinded?
A once iconic franchise that literally paved the way for Xbox to become the titan of industry that it became, has now been relegated to a husk of its former self. Nothing but dust and echoes.
Just dust and echoes.
Misstep after misstep after misstep after misstep. The best thing that Microsoft has done with the Halo franchise in the past decade was let us use the guns from Halo in Helldivers 2. That's so messed up. Because you guys remember Halo? It was a pretty cool game. And then one day it wasn't. Then there's Arcane's Redfall from Grace. See, the thing about that game is Microsoft knew they had a disaster on their hands. And what did they do? They shipped it anyway.
Day one adopters on PC and Xbox consoles found the experience beset by copious technical errors affecting performance, enemy AI, texture pop-ins, character animations, and multiplayer connectivity. Meanwhile, executives at parent company Xbox Game Studios stood before the slings and arrows, ready to accept the lion's share of fault for the disappointing launch.
And good lord, what about Starfield? Do I even need to go into why Starfield is a piece of shit? I don't think so. Y'all know, y'all seen it. And then there's their prime jewel, Call of Duty, which has desperately needed a break from annual releases, both for the developers' sake and the audience's sake. Yet still, they continue to annually release this thing, despite the fact that the audience right now doesn't even seem to want Black Ops 7 in its current state.
I don't care about Black Ops 7. I'm gonna be straight honest.
So it's like, what? Are we gonna continue paying Microsoft 30 bucks a month for the continual and rapid decline of some of our favorite franchises? Meanwhile, they're just going to shut down more studios and lay off more people? Their gaming empire has become so massive that it would appear that they have no idea how to manage it. They continue to throw money at projects that are never going to see the light of day. To me, it seems that Microsoft is simply spinning too many plates. From Game Pass to managing...
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are we doing?
We're pretty good.
What are you doing?
I'm just eating my chilies.
Okay.
To managing a multitude of exclusive games, to acquiring Activision, cloud gaming, and their little handheld Asus Ally thing that's coming out that I'm not going to mess with. I'm not a business guy, right? But it doesn't look like what they're doing is sustainable right now.
The situation right now for Xbox and Game Pass is getting ugly, to the point where I see some questioning how much longer Microsoft is even going to stick around with Xbox. That's really where it's gotten to now.
It's like they're really far away from hitting their margins. And if Xbox does end up going under, that'll have repercussions that we can't even begin to fathom. So it looks like we'd all better renew our Game Pass subscription then, eh boys? Nah, I'm just doing what they call goofing around. Actually, after Black Ops 7, I'll probably unsubscribe from Game Pass. 'Cause I don't like any of this. I think it's kind of sickening, to be honest. Now, go check out my video on the Fortnite curse. That's probably the best video on my entire channel. I think you'll like it a lot. And if you liked this video, go ahead and prove it by clicking like. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff that I make. Remember, I love each and every most of you.
Game Pass.